Welcome to this All Our Stories project at Fallin, from Coalfield to Brownfield. Hear about how our work has improved the site for wildlife and also for the local community to enjoy, and how we're writing a new chapter on the amazing history of Fallin.
This is Fallin, one of the former sites of the Palmy colliery. Sites like these are known as brownfields. Brownfields are defined as areas previously developed by man, which are then left derelict, and because of this they tend to hold interesting plant communities and associated invertebrates and other wildlife. To give us an insight into Fallin's history and the days of mining past, we interviewed Jock Thompson, a lifelong collier and resident of Fallin. You came to Fallin in the 30s?
In 1930.
Aye.
And we watched the bin ground because it wasn't that far away. The village surrounded the bin.
Aye.
And we watched it growing and growing and growing. Aye. And why the bin got there was because they usually had a place to put the dirt underground without bringing it up.
Aye.
But they hadn't. So they just put it in the bin.
Aye.
And then they had dross bins. They were aside the big bin, dross bin. They couldn't get a sale for dross, Ken, till the war came. And then they were desperate for coal.
Aye.
They needed coal more than they needed miners. There's plenty of men, but they hadn't coal. Everything burnt coal. All the boats in the ocean burnt coal.
Aye.
And all the infirmaries and jails and everything, houses, all burnt coal. We were staying in the blocks, aye. Between each two houses or a toilet, that was a luxury. That was a luxury.
Aye.
Aye. Because people in here in Sunny County had no toilet. It was dry to walk for 20 years to get to the toilet. So you ken the predicament that we ran through the night.
Aye, must have been a nightmare during the winter.
Aye. And they froze during the winter, they froze now. Ken, the lavish froze. They were just outside. And when the women put out their washing, the steward all came for the bin on the washing. And that was another fault. We were never told to go off the bin. And played in it and spent all our time in the moss. We spent all our time in the moss.
Aye.
Making tents and making water, drinking water. Couldn't afford juice. And that's where we spent our time, was all the time.
Aye.
Picnicking and but we never got much juice in that, we got water. And the far end of the moss, that's where they gambled.
Oh, right.
The cards. Aye. And if you're up there you might get a shilling or two and the peat. And that's where they gambled, but sat and played at pontoon.
Ever indulging that yourself, Joe?
Aye. I've been there too, aye.
Aye. Did you leave happy?
Oh aye, usually. I started at 14-year-old.
14?
14.
Jeez, oh.
Left the school. And you started in the pit ahead, the surface. And you gradually says, I want to go down the pit, and they took you down, Ken. I was only a wee boy, Ken. It was good though.
Aye.
Good though, like 13 and 8 a week. Now, what's new money? I think about 78 pence or something. Ken.
78 pence a week?
I can mind the first time I got a pound note in my pay. I thought it was the king. Jumping up and doing a pound.
So you started working in the mine at 14. Did you know on your way through school that you were basically...
We kept we were going to the pit.
Aye.
There was nothing for us. Aye.
Do you think that hindered you in a way when you were at school because you just thought, well, what's the point, I'm going down the
Oh
pit
aye,
anyway?
we need future anyway, Ken.
Aye.
You need future. You knew where you were going.
With the mining days of Fallin now past, we invited the pupils of Fallin Primary to join us in our activities so that the young people of this generation can benefit from a more hopeful and inspiring Bing site through its new guise as an important brownfield.
It's just the place that you always look for. You go out a run,
Right.
play silly games as you do, and it was always, first to spy Fallin Bing. You knew you were home. That was it. Things like that.
And what about now? Do you ever go out onto the Bing now?
Now, no.
No.
But quite happy they're going to be doing things like getting these wee insecty things.
Okay.
Because I think it's important for the wildlife, because there's very little here now.
So do you think that the Bing could still be important to Fallin?
I feel it could be used for a lot. We're going to try and get the schools and everything organised into it, and the kindergartens and that, because it'll keep the place a bit better.
Just to give them a bit of ownership about
Well,
it?
it gives them a wee bit of pride in the place.
Yeah, and do you think
We had pride in the place when we were kids.
Why do you think you had pride in Fallin whenever you were a kid?
Because we stayed here, because you were brought up to respect things more.
Okay.
I mean, okay, we all got up to wrong things, but we never done anything bad like destructive.
Right, okay.
And I feel kids are needing that put back into their life.
Okay.
Needing to feel, well, this is our community and it's us that's going to grow up and have kids, and this is what we're leaving them. It's just to give kids something to come and say, well, that was part of us. And maybe that'll help be a wee bit of pride. So that's what we're hoping for.
Also out planting some wildflowers were TCV Stirling Group and volunteers with Stirling Council Ranger Service. And here are just some of the excellent entries for the Fallin Bing poster competition from the school kids, including the winner, Mark. The next step of our work was the removal of scrub. Again, we enlisted help from TCV Stirling and Stirling Council Ranger Service, but this time we were also joined by Stirling Uni's Zoological Society. The removal of scrub is an important part of the conservation effort for the large heath butterfly. It is present on Fallin Bing and Western Moss, where it is managed by Butterfly Conservation. But as well as the large heath, opening out areas like this for wildflowers is highly important for the likes of hoverflies, day-flying moths and various species of bees.
You remember, was there any accidents in the pit?
Twice I've watched the rope breaking, and this would do like a bullet. The bogey. The tub had come up to cow, and it sat away while the other was getting pulled. And this boy was along with us, and he put his hand to lean on the rail. He put his hand to lean on the rail to pick something, and it just went out of his fingers. Oh, we see this. And there were no nurse or doctor. And what you had to do was to take him to the blacksmith. And the blacksmith had to put a bandage on it and send him to the infirmary in the bus. For the ambulance. But previous to that, if a man got hurt in the pit, they brought him home in a barra. On a barra, wheelbarrow, seriously hurt it. And they brought them home in a barra. That's a fact. I can mind of that.
Aye.
Man getting brought home in a barra. Primitive, you talk about primitive.
Our final act of habitat creation was to build some insect banks on the south-facing slope of the Bing. These will catch the sun during the warmer months, becoming an excellent basking site for a variety of insects. And for those who are ground nesting, the small gaps and spaces within the sediment will be perfect.
It's a beautiful bee bank.
As important a part of habitat creation as building bee banks is, in the right company, it's also a good laugh.
Don't think I've seen that side of you, Michael.
Somebody has to do the work. Michael! Pay attention to your doing it!
So was it a kind of massive effect at the whole mine shutting and
Oh aye,
all the strikes
it
and
was a
everything?
terrible thing. And yet, maybe a good thing in a way for the amount of accidents. I mean, you never see men going about with crutches and stair backs and that new kid. And we're getting fed just the same, I suppose.
Ah, quite right.
I come away before I shut.
Just in time.
Aye. Never got that much, but they got more later on, Ken.
Aye. Do you ever wish the mine was still there?
Nah,
Nah.
nah, too many accidents. Too many accidents. We're living just the same. Never missed a meal, so quite happy.
Ah, that's not too bad.
Aye.
Over the course of this project, I've had the privilege of meeting some of the real characters of Fallin and gaining an insight into what this site surrounded by the village actually means to its people. What I've found is that the Bing very much represents the past, present and future of Fallin, and the future for both that village and for the wildlife we've worked to conserve is safe in the hands of Fallin Bing. Former Coalfield, now important Brownfield.